We have another quick and easy little Godzilla Explained video coming up here from Godzilla Aftershock, the Godzilla King of the Monsters prequel tie-in comic. It's actually mostly a Godzilla 2014 sequel. Okay, never mind. It's quite mixed. Now that I really think about it, it's quite mixed between the two. Alright, let's talk about Muto Prime. I've already done a video like this previously, a Jinshin Mushi Explained video. This was back when we got the initial announcement for the character. So the information there isn't quite as relevant as the information we're going to be covering here because the comic wasn't out then. I was going off the Monarch website alone. Now we actually have seen the creature in action and we can talk about it. So we'll break down Muto Prime in this video. The creature is said to be the Godzilla killer. Supposedly it has multiple members of the Gojira species slain under its belt, so he has killed members of Godzilla's species before. The creature becomes the thing of myth as different cultures learn to fear it. I really like that idea. I like the idea that there's this beast that people are just terrified of. It's not as cool as a three-headed dragon that fell from the stars and wipes out civilizations, and so they all learn to fear it, but it's still kind of cool. The Japanese name it Jinshin Mushi, which in continuity, I don't actually know if this is real, but in continuity, that's because the name translates to the dragon beetle and the bringer of earthquakes. It's derived from both of those. So it's this dragon beetle slash earthquake bringer. And the reason he's the earthquake bringer is because when he steps, he causes seismic vibrations that shake the earth. I would think that that would just be all the Titans. Like Godzilla's big enough to where when he walks, he should be causing kind of earthquakes. We do see a little bit of that in King of the Monsters, but it's mostly implied here that it's a special ability of Jinshin Mushi, that he has this sort of weird earthquake creating ability. Jinshin Mushi is the mother of the male and female Muto that terrified the world in Godzilla 2014. We actually learn a little bit more about this in Godzilla Aftershock. Muto Prime killed a member of Godzilla's species called Dagon, laid some eggs inside of it. Those eggs turned into the male and female Muto. That is where we pick up in Godzilla 2014. It's fully explained that the Muto Prime is this parasitic creature. It ingests parasites into a host body, in this case that'd be Godzilla, that kill the host from the inside out. So Jinshin Mushi doesn't actually do the killing. It lets the parasites do the killing. These parasites hatch inside of the creature and feed on its nuclear radiation before turning back into cocoons essentially and waiting to hatch again. Eventually these cocoons will hatch again and the creature will metamorphose into a bigger creature. This is what we see in Godzilla 2014 when the male Muto hatches from his little spore. He runs on over to Janjura in Japan, takes over that facility until he can eventually evolve into his final stage, which is the male Muto. Like I said, this is the origins of the Muto species. It actually turns out that the Muto are a subspecies in this case. The super species would be Muto Prime, the Jinshin Mushi species. The Mutos themselves are explained to be able to design and re-terraform environments into ones that they can thrive in. We don't totally know how they do that. It just seems like mostly through reproduction to the point where they become the dominant species. And we don't actually know if they've ever successfully done that in the past because from what we understand, Godzilla has always killed them and he's always just kind of wiped them out. So there's never really been an ability for them to take over civilizations. The Mutos are capable of reproduction, but their babies will be part of their subspecies. The Mutos cannot create more of Muto Prime. There can only be one Muto Prime at a time from what we understand, and in order to achieve that, this is the thing that I think is important for Godzilla King of the Monsters. In order to achieve that, the female Muto is the one who can do it. She needs to kill and eat her male counterpart before she can proceed to metamorphose into the next Muto Prime. So the reason that we have a Muto in Godzilla King of the Monsters is because there is a third Muto that's located, I believe he originates from Japan? Maybe? That might be a mistake, but I think the third Muto, well, it doesn't matter. The third Muto exists on the planet. He wakes up when Ghidorah does his alpha call, does some destroying before heading over to Boston where he is, or she, I guess it's a she. I don't know why I keep saying he, it's clearly a female. She then bows to Godzilla because Godzilla becomes the new alpha. The reason she bows to Godzilla is because Godzilla has killed Muto Muto Prime in this comic storyline in Godzilla Aftershock. So without there being a Muto Prime, there is no dominant, and she can't become the dominant to try and kill Godzilla and continue the legacy because she doesn't have a male counterpart to eat. We also learned that when the male Muto wakes up in Godzilla 2014 and calls for his mate, he wakes up Muto Prime in the process. Muto Prime hears the calls as well, which leads into the events of Godzilla Aftershock that take place very shortly after Godzilla 2014. The Muto Prime gets the advantage over the Godzilla species due to its thunderous footsteps, the earthquakes, and its ability to shoot these tendrils that inject eggs or parasites into Godzilla species. That's how they're able to beat the Godzilla species, because as we see in this comic, Godzilla is definitely stronger. They're also capable, or at least Muto Prime is capable, of creating this sonic screech that destroys Godzilla's dorsal fins, draining his atomic energy. And that's another thing that we know they do, is they do drain the atomic energy out of Godzilla's, which is how they weaken and eventually kill them, and that's what they feed off of. But we do see that Muto Prime has this sonic screech, kind of similar to Godzilla Earth's super oscillatory wave. So there's the updated Muto Prime explained. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you guys next time. D-Man, out.